Program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hi, welcome to the Ring and All the Sports. My name is Leo Connors, and I'm your host. And tonight, I got a very special guest, ECWA Legend, Mr. Ooh La La. Welcome.
Ooh la la! Ha ha! You're still a swine!
All right, we're going to get right into this interview, Mr. Ooh La La. Where did you grow up?
All right, there was a small town just south of Paris called Kayfabe, France. That's where most of this all began as a young Frenchman before I traveled to the United States.
Nice. All right, did you play any sports as a kid?
I did the baseball, I did basketball. I'm the best bricklayer you'll ever see on the court, let me tell you. I attempted hockey, but that was way too early. I actually did figure skating, and as you can tell by my movement in the ring, I got it all. And then a little bit of baseball as well as wrestling.
Nice, okay. How old were you when you discovered professional wrestling?
About 13 or 14 years old. My friend George Cloud and I would go to the Spectrum. And I'll tell you, the man that got me in, hook, line, and sinker, was Big Sweet Hansen, I shouted after he took the turnbuckle and it didn't faze him. I shouted, as tough as I was at 14, no brain, no pain. And let me tell you, his head turned. And what I thought looked right through me. He scared the bejesus out of me, but that was the moment I was hooked.
Nice. And I remember Swede from, the old WWF, but also from being in a tag team with Rip Hawk. They were a great tag team in the Carolinas.
Where the Russian invaders are still currently undefeated, if you don't know that already.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay. So who were some of your favorites besides Sweet Hansen when you were growing up?
Bob Backlund, of course, the Superfly. After seeing him jump off the cage, quite frankly, it was the match with Morocco that I remember the most, that I liked. And then there was Tony Garea, Rick Martel, Fuji, Saito. Oh, God, it was the glory days for me. You had Arnold Skolin with a cigar coming out with Backlund. You had the Grand Wizard, Freddie Blassie, Captain Lou Albano, who swore if you put someone's brain in a bird, they would fly backwards. If you don't remember, I do.
Right? Definitely. I've been a fan since I was 7 years old, so I know all those names, love all those guys. I was a fan of both, the heels and the good guys. So who trained you?
Well, it all began in 1987 at the Monster Factory, which is now run by Danny Cage. I had the pleasure and privilege of meeting both Larry Sharp and Buddy Rogers for my first day. I told them I wanted to be a professional wrestler, but at 165, 170 pounds, they told me I was too small. But they offered me training as a referee, and I jumped all over it, and that's where it all began in 1987 at the Monster Factory.
Nice. Now, as you see, you became a pro wrestler, not just a referee. So did they help you put on weight and all that by showing you workout drills, or did you do that on your own?
Oh, I just ate like a damn slob. The weight came right on me. Oh, it was a train wreck for years. But now it's chiseled 215. You can't make this. I no longer had that body by Drake's.
Nice.
But let me tell you, it was a wonderful experience.
Excellent. Who else was in your class?
Well, you had Jeff Gripley, Tony Stetson, the gentleman you know as Raven, we knew as Scotty Flamingo, and of course there was Bam Bam Bigelow, He-Man Randy Lewis, Mountain Mike Moore was there, Masked Chaos. It was a wonderful time.
Excellent, excellent. I was wondering, was Heidi Lee Morgan in your class?
No, she was not in my class. What happened is, after I got my license, I tried to get some work as a referee. I would travel to shows with my gear, trying to get work. And then someone had told me that they knew somebody out, they knew Huddy Lee Morgan. So I literally drove out to Bricktown, New Jersey with an old Rand McNally map where Heidi Lee Morgan wrestled Wendy in the cage that evening, just to meet her and her father, Les Morgan. Les Morgan says to me, and I quote, "It's not what you know, it's who you know." He told me where his school was, and he told me to be there on Saturday, and I showed up.
Excellent.
Now,
Excellent.
when I showed up, you want to hear what happened? It was a beautiful thing. They must have body slammed me, him, Ricky Bauer, and Artie Palmer about 25 to 30 times on top of old tires with some plywood, a little piece of foam, a rug, and a piece of canvas. But I felt like I got slammed 1,000 times. They said, "Okay, that's all for today. We want you to come back tomorrow." So I came back that Sunday. I said, "Okay, I'm ready to go." They said, "Okay, we'll take you as a student."
Nice. That's excellent. That's a great story. Can you tell us a little bit about your first match you ever had?
Oh, the first match I had, I wrestled Artie Palmer out in Trenton, New Jersey. It was supposed to be we were told, a 10-minute European Championship match. Then it got whittled down. Long story short, I got my clock cleaned by Artie Palmer. He beat me from pillar to post. Later that evening, they had us do a run-in against Cousin Luke and Abdul the Butcher. And of course, they set me out first. So I got in the ring. Next thing you know, I turn. Ivy gives me a shot right to the throat. I go down like a ton of bricks. I get kicked out of the ring. Next thing you know, I'm on all fours. I'm trying to get up. Here comes a chair right across my back by Abdul the Butcher. Let me tell you, I never heard a sound so loud, and I never felt that much pain in my life. But I lived to tell the story, and it was probably one of the best experiences I had, as brutal as it was.
Right. It must have been terrifying to face Abdullah the Butcher. Wow.
Oh, yeah, it was. It was something else to be in the ring with him, and next thing you know, the man was lightning quick, and next thing you know, right to the neck, and that was it.
Right. All right. So listen, I want to tell you, I know you through the Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazines. I used to read the arena results and read your name, and then I started looking you up on the internet, and I became a fan. I actually met you at the Icons of Pro Wrestling last year with my grandson, which was it was a thrill for me to finally meet you in person. And it was a riot because we were looking for you, and you actually jumped in front of us and stopped us. Do you remember that?
I do remember that, and that was quite an event that evening.
Yes.
I got to tell you, the wrestling fans are the best ones out there, bar none. The best people I've ever met in this beautiful business.
Right, absolutely. Now, before I get into the name game, you have been on almost every single Super 8 card except for one, you said to me earlier. And what was that, this past year?
It was not this year, but the year before.
Okay.
We were up in upstate New York, Pennsylvania, near the New York border.
Okay. That's an amazing feat to be on all them shows. It really is. Wow. You know what I mean? Because they've had some great athletes in that Super 8.
Yes, they have, and I'm blessed to say that if you watch WWE right now, they're still there.
Yes.
Austin Aries. I just put up a picture about 2 weeks ago from an old brochure, a flyer that I found in my house.
Yep, absolutely. Daniel Bryan's still there working as the general manager.
Yes.
All right. So let's just jump right into the name game. I have a lot of names, and you can just tell me a little story about them, or if you like them, if you don't like them, whatever comes to mind. Does that sound good?
All right, let's roll with this.
All right. Lance Diamond.
Oh, what a gem. What an absolute gem to work with, to help train with, and I have nothing but respect for the man. Kudos to him for going to TNA, ECW, and forging his own way.
Great. How about the guy that owned ECWA for a long time, very long time, Jim Kettner.
Let me tell you, I have the utmost respect for the man. Part of who I am today is because of him. And to tell the young guys, you may not always like what's given offered to you, but here I am to tell you, 30 years into the business, that was offered to me in the early 90s. And this is why I am here with you today, because I took his idea and we ran with it.
Right. Now, he has nothing to do with the ECWA now?
No, sir, none at all.
Wow. That was it a big when the new owners bought it. Now that was with Mike
Tartaglia.
Yes, and who's the other owner?
There's Joe Zanoli.
Yes, Joe Zanoli. Now, how was the transition? Was it smooth when it got sold?
For me, it was seamless, and they took a lot of chances. They brought in some names, and I'm pleased and privileged to say that they're still running. They're still putting top-notch shows on. This last Super 8 was phenomenal, and again, to bear witness to it has been a blessing.
Right. All right. So, Ace Darling.
The best. We were down in Wilmington, and there was a guy there he was supposed to beat, or I'm sorry, he was supposed to wrestle, who was a boxer. And I'll never forget, Ace Darling got in the ring, put his dukes up, and said, "Who's the toughest boxers?" I'm paraphrasing now because I can't remember, but all I know is I laughed so hard at him challenging this guy. And I have to also say, it was a privilege, and it was incredible to see him make the move to WCW, where he was able to grow and develop into who he is today. Another top tier gentleman.
Excellent. Now, when first time I saw Ace and his old tag team partner, Crowbar.
Crowbar, another gentleman who went on to WCW and had I think a very successful career. Now, a little quick story about Ace Darling. On June, about 11 years ago, I crushed my left eye, and that night, the next day, that was the night I was supposed to wrestle Ace Darling, so that match has never happened.
Wow, you've never wrestled Ace? I figured you guys had probably wrestled.
No, we have never wrestled, and I have not wrestled Crowbar, but Crowbar did a stunning impersonation of Cheetah Master from the ECWA. It was amazing. In fact, if you ever see the picture on Facebook where it looks like I'm sliding in and out of the ring, I got to tell you, I took that from Crowbar. Because when he did Devon Storm, he kind of looked like Cheetah Master. So one night he came out dressed as Cheetah Master, came out to his music, and did that slide in and out of the ring. And let me tell you, I ran with it.
Nice. Now, you sure that wasn't because you had a hard time climbing up the steps?
Well, we're not going to discuss the steps, okay? And how dare you bring that up, you swine?
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Seeing you.
You know how bruised my knees are?
I bet. I'm sure.
My bum is a wreck.
Well, listen, seeing you brought him up, legendary Cheetah Master.
Between him and Boogie Woogie Brown, I probably have had the most matches with the two of them. And one day, well, Boogie, God rest his soul, I still miss that man. But Cheetah Master, I still have a bone to pick with you. You can bring your welcome to the jungle. You can throw your shirt out like you're some sort of... It doesn't matter, because I am still one day going to get you in the ring, you swine.
Nice. Well, you said Boogie Woogie Brown, the late, great Boogie Woogie Brown.
What could be said? I literally loved the man. He was something to behold. And he wasn't always that soft in the ring and that light in the ring. That splash, let me tell you, you felt every pound of that 365-pound frame. The interesting story with him was he was roommates with Randy White from the Cowboys.
Wow.
And Randy White literally came down to visit us when we were at the Ellesmere Boys and Girls Club. So through Boogie, we had the privilege of meeting Randy White one evening.
Well, that's awesome because Randy White was huge. I was actually a Cowboys fan back then because my New England Patriots up here back then were horrible. So you had to find.
Once they learn how to inflate that ball, everything's good.
Hey, now it's easy now. Now it's my turn to tell you easy. Don't be picking on Tom Brady.
I'm not picking on him. Hey.
Well, listen, the next guy I bring up scares the crap out of me. Glenn Osborne.
Oh, well, let me tell you, don't ever put his neck collar on because that stuff was loaded with so much hot stuff, I thought my neck caught fire. See, in that Battle Royal, his neck collar came off and he threw me out of the ring. Well, I thought I was so tough, I put the damn thing on and then I got in his face and he threw me right back out. But 20 minutes later, I get to the back, I take the collar off. I look at my neck, this thing's just about blistering. I'm on fire. What the hell has happened to me? It's that damn hot stuff. If I don't ever see it again, I'll be better for it. But Glenn, a gem of a man. I just posted a video from old ECW where he was working Magnificent Morocco.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to check that out.
I did share it. I believe it was last week. Joe Zanoli posted it.
Excellent. I'm definitely going to look for that when I go home. How about, I'm going to start naming guys that have just come in the territory, the ECWA. Some have stayed a little bit. Some were in and out. You know what I mean? How about, do you remember Scoot Andrews?
Oh, the Black Nature Boy.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, what a wonderful man. I enjoyed watching his matches. And, my style of wrestling, is a throwback to 1912 almost, okay? Just shut your mouth. They quit laughing at me. But let me tell you, nobody gets out of their damn seat when I'm in the ring because not only do they not know what I'm going to do, I have no earthly idea what I'm going to do either. But Scoot Andrews, what a technician. Wonderful man to watch, an even better human being.
Excellent. I have a lot of local guys from here that have made it to the ECWA. I'm going to go through them because I'm based out of New England, and most of the people that watch the show are from this area. All 6 people. How about John Walters?
An ECWA champion.
Yes.
Another technician. Could probably go 60 minutes without even breaking a sweat. Wonderful to watch again. Just so much to learn. And I'll tell these kids, whether it be the Monster Factory, ECWA Network, the WWE Network, watch the work of the gentlemen from years ago. It is top tier. There's so much to learn.
Oh, absolutely. How about do you remember Chase Del Monte?
Oh, the man who made me put a dress on?
Yep, that's him.
Oh, what are you laughing at, huh?
I'm sorry.
All
right.
He said valet. I thought I was parking cars for the evening. Next thing you know, I got lipstick on a wig and this huzziest dress. I'm not through with him either. There's a list of people I'm not through with.
Oh, I'm sure of that. How about the former tag team champion, Brian and Matt Logan? The
Logan brothers. They had their runs with the valedictorians.
Yes.
And those matches are worth their weight in gold. Great mat technicians, just like the Haas brothers, who could take you and twist you up almost like a William Regal can.
Right.
Just great mat technicians that have transitioned beautifully into professional wrestling.
Excellent. They're still going great down here, too, aren't they? They just lost the tag team title, the chaotic tag team titles, but I'm sure they're going to bounce right back. How about their little brother who won the Super 8 in 2009, Nick Logan?
Again, it's the legacy. It's in their blood.
Yes.
That is why he came out on top. He doesn't take his breaks. He did everything he's supposed to do. He worked out. He paid attention. He didn't miss class. It's the Logan legacy. That's why he was the winner.
Nice. They grew up actually in the same city I did, Lowell, Massachusetts. My daughter went to school with Matt. Do you?
You must be 90.
I'm getting there. I don't know if you remember this guy. I think he only came up for the Super 8. A kid by the name of Andre Lyons.
I remember the name, and do you recall who he worked, Monsieur?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. But I know in that match, was pretty much his last match of his career. He had gone into the match with a bad knee, and it just tore it all up during that match, and he's never wrestled again.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, what a way to go out in the Super 8. That is, and to be privileged enough to be part of it, as the fans were privileged enough to watch him wrestle.
Oh, absolutely. Another guy that just retired on his own terms, Brian Fury.
I know, you're right, Brian. Again, the talent out of that area is top tier. You had the Logans, Chase Almonte, Brutal Bob Evans.
Yes.
I got to hang with him before it was cool to hang with him.
Very nice. I seen Bob a couple weeks ago. Do you remember Scott Reed?
Yes, I do. Hot Shot Scott Reed.
Yes.
Yes, I remember him. He came out of the Monster Factory, I believe.
I think he trained down there, but he's from this area. No, you know who trained him? No, you know who trained him? The third Super 8 champion, the baddest mofo in the business, Steve Bradley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that is incredible. So no wonder he's at the place where he is in professional wrestling with that kind of experience behind training. I mean, I've been blessed to be trained by who I was around, and as you look over time, the standards just keep rising.
Oh, absolutely. Seeing that you brought up like training, Danny Cage, who's doing a phenomenal job with the Monster Factory right now.
He has done look at the talent in there. You have Anthony Bennett, who's the one I remember the most. I was actually down there about a year ago, and I actually need to reach out to him, and I will be doing it soon because I want to actually have a 30th year match in the Monster Factory.
Oh, nice. Matter of fact, the guy that was just on the show a couple weeks ago, Big Josh Briggs, is one of his regulars now. And he's from this area. Well, he's originally from Arizona, but he lives up here now in New England. And he's been going down for all the Monster Factory shows.
I tell you, as he should continue to go. And this is probably the best time in professional wrestling for training because you have the Monster Factory, you have Ring of Honor. The ECWA just opened up a facility out in New Jersey for training. I mean, there was a very big lull of facilities and avenues to work. Now there seems to be a flourishing of it again. And it's actually a wonderful time for the business.
Absolutely. There's a bunch of places to train up here in New England. Brian Fury actually runs the New England Professional Wrestling Academy. It's incredible. Slick Wagner Brown trains guys. There's just the XWA, they train guys down at there at like Jose Perez and Mike Bennett. Great guys, great places to train right now. You're right, all around the United States. How about the ECWA heavyweight champion right now, Azriel?
Azriel with AJ Pan and his cronies, I got to hand it to him. He's done what he needed to do to get on top, and he didn't back down, even with Sean Carr showing up and all the chaos that surrounded all that. And then he's taken the ECWA title up. I believe he was up in New England recently defending the title. So he's defending it elsewhere as well.
Nice. He's a great talent. I've actually known him since 2002 when he used to work for Ring of Honor. I used to cater for Ring of Honor, all the Massachusetts shows, their first 2 years in the company. So I got to know a lot of these guys, and phenomenal people, not just great wrestlers. Great guys also. How about the late, great Trent Acid?
One half of the Backseat Boys.
Yes.
What a privilege having to wrestle them. In fact, I never got yelled at so much as St. Matthew's Parish Hall, and the young lady must have forgotten she was in the holy grounds when she said, I had my picture with Transacid, and I looked at her and said, "Well, that means I don't have to be stuck with you." And let me tell you, the words that came out of my mouth, her mouth, Carlin wouldn't touch them.
Right? Now seeing the Backseat Boy, Johnny Cashmere, his tag team partner.
Wonderful man. Together as a team, they were fun to watch. The way they brought the crowd into it, they owned them the minute they walked through that curtain, and they had them till probably they went to bed. The girls were still dreaming about them.
Oh, absolutely. And both guys, I've known personally too, and they're great guys. They've always been awesome to me. How about a guy that's working for Ring of Honor now as one of the announcers, Kevin Kelly?
Well, Kevin Kelly, he brought me a tag team down called Les Resistance. And let me tell you, we were not a force, not even close. But what I learned from him, we were wrestling. I forgive me for not remembering. Mozart, Fontaine, and I were teaming up against two of his boys, and we got into the ring, and we did. I don't even know how we ended the match, but we ended it like no other. And Kevin Kelly, he was befuddled at how we were able to, despite all that chaos we created, we were able to pull off a wonderful match.
That's awesome. Seeing that we brought him up as a manager, also, you know, we know he's an announcer. I want to bring up a couple of managers from the ECWA's past. Mr. Barry Casino.
Barry Casino, another man, God rest his
Yes.
soul. A man who invented, that's right. You better bless yourself twice.
Okay.
So what happened is, as I was being introduced, much like you see Samson in WWE, for the first 3 months, I would just come out with my purple suit on, the finest Parisian suit that one could find. I had my gloves on because I didn't want to touch the filth. And Barry Casino and I introduced Je ne peux plus and Je ne pas pas. Now, it was a fine French cologne and perfume that the fans thought were hideous, but what do they know? But he helped me immensely. His gift of gab is unparalleled. It was a privilege to have worked with him for the decades that I did.
Nice. Now, there's another guy. He's a little guy. Carlton Hightower, is that his last name?
Carlton P. Hightower.
Yeah, that's it.
He is a mountain of a man. He will stop at nothing to get you a win. It doesn't matter if he can't reach the bottom rope. He'll find a way to help you get your win no matter what, and at all cost. It was just one evening, and we were in Wind Gap, where I was not so fortunate when Johnny Max ran up at 20 set of bleachers. I was trying to hide. Things got a little hairy. Well, it turns out that the fans left a path about a 5 foot wide all the way up the bleachers just to get to me, those swines. And let me tell you, I got beat up and beat all the way down those steps back into the ring. That was the only time Carlton P. Hightower had any kind of issues, and I think it was because the kids. Because most of them were taller than him, so he had a hard time seeing over them. But aside from that, the man is a genius.
All right. How about a 2-time Super 8 winner and now the Ring of Honor World Champion, Christopher Daniels?
Wow, I'm so glad you mentioned him. I said to him after one of his wins in Wilmington and St. Matthews, I said, Chris, I would love to just one time go out there and do one of those moves off the top rope. It's awesome. I am the master of the bottom rope. I am all over it. To talk about the second and top rope, it's no off limits, okay? I am a grounded competitor. But he said to me, I want to do what you do. I said, well, what do you mean, monsieur? He goes, well, what happens every time you walk out the curtain? I said, well, every time I step out, they are yelling and booing and making all sorts of noise at me. They're not very friendly. He goes, that's what I want to do. Because all you do is you just walk out there and you own them. I said, he says, I have to jump and damn near kill myself to get this. And all you do is walk out there. So even John Finnegan tells me, I don't get it, but the hell is that noise? Anyway,
I don't know.
I don't know either. Damn it. Anyway, so he told me that he had to almost kill himself for the golf clap, and he wanted to do what I do. That was probably one of the most impressive things I've ever heard someone say to me. And even John Finnegan to this day looks at me and goes, you don't get what you do. And I look at him and say, ha ha, nope.
Seeing you brought up John Finnegan, I'd like to bring up another referee who also used to referee in ECW with John Finnegan, Michael Keener.
Outstanding. I still listen to him, and he still yells at me. So, Keener, I know you're still yelling at me, but I'm getting better, brother. So, he is a fountain of information, and I'll tell you, and I'll tell the kids out there watching. Listen twice as much as you speak. That's why God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. And I've learned to listen. I listen to Keener. I listen to Finnegan, even Tartaglia, Jim Kettner. If I didn't listen to him, I tried 2 other gimmicks before Monsieur Ooh La La, and they were as over as a fart at church. Let me tell you, it wasn't bad. But what happened with Ooh La La, I couldn't have dreamed this up to be able to tell you today.
Excellent, excellent. How about Prince Nana?
Oh, wow. Well, let me tell you, I ended up in the corner in the ring one night, and next thing you know, here comes his rear eye. Oh, he took me out. We were on the same team. I don't know what the hell happened. He later apologized, but what a technician. What a wonderful man to work in the ring with. And sometimes I'll admit I'll get caught watching what they're doing. And, and then if I'm not being distracted by one of the fans who's telling me what I got to do, they just need to shut their mouths.
Right.
But Prince Nana, top tier.
Excellent. How about Loki?
I wrestled him.
Yes. He kicks
The
hard,
night
doesn't
of
he?
I was black and blue from shoulder blade to shoulder blade and across the chest for about 7 days. And then that stomp off the top rope.
Oh, yeah.
I went toe to toe with him, but it wasn't enough. But I know that Mike Cruel watched the match and never saw anyone clothesline low key as stiffly as I did. And I tell you, if I didn't hit him that hard, he'd have hit me back even harder.
Oh, absolutely. You brought him up, and he was on the list. Okay? Mike Cruel.
A one-time tag team partner of mine.
Right.
Have you seen the match?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, you saw how I dominated it, right?
Yes, of course.
Absolutely. Well, that's when everything was in control. Who came in? I did. What happened? Well, we won't discuss it. You'll have to go to my YouTube channel to watch it. There's my cheap plug. But anyway, Mike Cruel, another one. And his father used to watch my matches too, which I thought was pretty neat. That a man of his caliber who had been doing work for years and decades was watching me work. I was quite humbled by that.
Now, his father was the bodyguard for hire, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, I'm almost positive that's who he was. I don't mean to bring it down again or getting a little sad or anything, but Jeff Peterson, the late, great Jeff Peterson.
Well, I want to say, I believe one of his first matches was with me in a battle royal where we started working together. And to watch his career and to be with him, and even in his he's a wonderful boy. And what was interesting is when I was at his viewing, I sat with Boogie, and it was a very sad day because it was far too short a life to try to celebrate, though we did celebrate his life. But his mother looked at me and she said, I don't know if I know who you are. I said, because I didn't have my glasses on that day, okay? So it was hard to tell. But I said, oh, I'm sorry, my name is Mr. Ooh La La. And the look on her face was so overwhelming because she said that he spoke so highly of me.
Oh, nice.
But he was just one of the boys, one of the kids. We were part of who I am today is with the legacy I leave, and I thought he was going to be part of the legacy that I would be enjoying today until God had other plans for the young man.
Yes, he most certainly did. I'm going to go back a little bit to some local guys from around here that have come up there. Alex Arion.
Alex Arion, again, all the boys from Boston area, phenomenal. Whether it be chain wrestling, the high flying, psychology, they have it all. You can watch the boys can watch their feet. Just watch, guys. These guys are first class athletes coming out of New England.
Absolutely. He's another guy that was trained by the late, great Steve Bradley. This guy was in the Super 8, I think, not this year, but last year. Big guy named the Kingpin, Brian Malonis.
He wrestled with us before.
Yes.
In fact, one of his matches, I believe, I can't recall, but I think he ended up going through a table when he wrestled Glenn Osborne. I'm not 100% sure, but that was one of the coolest matches I got to witness because the match psychology, they set the table up in the beginning of the match, and to the point where you forgot about it. It was a table match, so the first one that went through the table would lose.
Right.
And he miscalculated Glenn Osborne, and I believe this was the match. Don't quote me. I'm sure somebody out there may correct me, and feel free to. But next thing you know, he miscalculated, and Glenn tossed him right off the top rope, right through the table. It was one of the neatest matches I had seen in a long time.
I'd like to see that match because that's two big guys. How about gonna go with some of the guys? Actually, we're gonna go with Reckless Youth.
Ah, the original King of Delaware.
Yes.
Ah, if you didn't see him perform, shame on you. He had the mic skills. He had the ring presence. Quite frankly, he was funny, and he really helped develop. If you look at the ECWA back then, it was before Ace and Devin and Reckless and Quackenbush. You had the Cuban Stomper, Dr. Destruction, The Animal, Blue Thunder, Simon Diamond, or Lance Diamond, who we ended up taking out to Jersey at Heidi Lee Morgan's gym out there to work on the Northern Light suplex that he used so frequently. But those are the guys that helped pioneer, and even today, the elevation of the talent has gone through the roof. But that is your Reckless Youth, your Quackenbush, your Devin Storms, your Ace Darlings, all those influences, Kevin Kelly, Brutal Bob Evans, the boys from Boston helped everybody. There was a synergy there that is kind of tough to match.
Right, amazing wrestlers. Seeing we're talking about amazing wrestlers, how about Red, the Amazing Red?
Wow, that goes way back. And again, it was almost like watching Rey Mysterio before Rey Mysterio. Yeah. I mean, he was diving before diving became part of every damn match. And I'm going to be doing a dive soon. Wait till you see that happen.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. A couple women from down that area. Renee Michelle.
Oh, another one who has actually had some work with WWE, but there's a women's champion who was, quite frankly, she was very stunning. She almost had me speaking fluent French from time to time, okay? But she could work. She knew how to control the ring. She could cut the ring off on you. She knew she could tie you up, and she could out-wrestle you. She was a wonderful young lady.
Excellent. Now, how about a woman that you just teamed with, Miss Alicia? Is that how you say it?
Yes, okay. Alicia, who I'm not sure what she was thinking, but what she did to me last month was a disgrace. and I haven't forgotten about that. And that little swine, oh, I don't even want to.
Dave Reed?
Who?
Dave Reed?
Dave Reed and Lousy or Lodi, whatever the hell his name is.
Right.
Yeah, Lousy. Yeah, he's shorter than Hightower, and not even a financial miracle. he's a misfit. That's what he is. But what she did to me, I thought we had everything under control. I made the tag. She went in there. She lit Dave Reed up like she owned him. And next thing you know, here comes the cane. I don't understand.
Right. One more female in the territory. Tessa Blanchard, Tully's daughter.
She is. The women today are phenomenal, and I actually have a picture with her a couple years ago when she was first that was actually out in Jersey, where she had won the women's title. A very humble, kind young lady who will out wrestle you. And you can see the pedigree from her father. It's just there. It's amazing.
Absolutely. She's going to be going places, that's for sure. How about Austin Aries?
Well, what a privilege to see him on TV now. He has paid his dues. He has even AJ Styles, who has come through the ECWA for the Super 8. It is wonderful to see these men are finally getting the recognition on the stage here. His work on the pay-per-view with Neville, it was awesome.
Oh,
absolutely loved it.
Yes, for sure. There's been so many guys that have come through the ECWA and then blown up afterwards. So it's got to be saying something for the territory, you know, like Bobby Roode, the NXT champion.
Yes. I mean, who would have, again, another gentleman who took the chances to branch out, came down, took his opportunities, made the best of it, and used it as a stepping stone. That's what the ECWA is. That's what DCW is. That's what RCW is. That's what these promotions are. It's a place for those gentlemen to hone their craft, to get better, to learn from the other men and women in the locker room. And it shows, like you said, he's the NXT champion. He'll be going places.
Absolutely. Have you ever wrestled in New England?
I have not. In fact, I must have missed several phone calls, and I don't seem to be getting any calls.
Right. Maybe I can talk to some of the promoters around here and see if we can get you down here.
Though I am undefeated in probably 47 states.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
Is it because you wrestle? How many matches have you had in those states?
None.
Ah, there you go. I understand.
It doesn't matter. I'm still undefeated.
Right? How about Jerry Lynn?
Wow. You know, as I look back through all my memories, I am overwhelmed sometimes by the amount of talent and good people that I have been around all these years. Jerry Lynn, Mike Mondo. I mean, even though Moore and Mae Young gave me the Bronco Buster, but I was, Georgie Animal Steel beat me from pillar to post. I mean, Hardcore Holly almost took my damn nose off, though you can say nothing happened, still here. But, I mean, he gave me a drop kick when I wrestled Sparky Plug, and I told him to keep the car running.
How about the Danny Inferno, or as he used to be called, the Inferno Kid?
Well, listen, I have a beef with him still over the diaper match. I believe yeah, until it was all fun and games until there's powder in my mouth, then he kicks me in the stomach and poof, like a dragon that goes, okay? I have not forgotten about that with Inferno. And then he teamed with Roughhouse Rivera's in the ECW.
Yes.
Though I did get to team with them and I got to wear the fuzzy dice, it didn't last long, approximately, I think, 5 minutes, to be honest with you.
Right. Robbie E.
One half of the Valedictorians with
Yes.
Carlton P. Hightower. there another gentleman who did what he needed to do, ended up on The Amazing Race. I think he's
Yes.
still racing.
He might
Did
be.
he win?
No, I don't
might be.
think they won. I actually think he lost his girlfriend on that show too.
Oh. Or did she lose him?
Well, I want to get into his tag team partner, Billy Bax.
Wonderful gentlemen. In fact, the two of them together as a tag team were something to watch. And they could not be beat. It didn't matter if it was a cage match, if it was a ladder match. They were unstoppable. And that, quite frankly, was Carlton P. Hightower, the genius that he was.
Right. Oh, absolutely. They actually came down and had a bunch of matches. They worked for Chaotic down here for a while.
Yeah, I think they did about 6 to 8 matches, I believe,
Oh,
if
yeah.
not more.
Yeah, probably more than that, to be
They
honest
gave
with
the
you.
Logans a good run for their money, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they did. Those matches were unbelievable. And they were all so young, too, you know what I mean? To put on the quality of those matches were excellent, especially for young guys in the business at the time.
Oh, they were.
Absolutely. Now, I know Christian Cage passed through the ECWA, Edge's old partner.
Christian Cage, Sexton Hardcastle, and Andrew Martin.
Yes.
And in fact, I am privileged to say that I shared a locker room with them in PCW with Blaine DeSantis, and they would come back and tell me how they would watch my matches, which I thought was amazing that these young kids were watching me work. And it was a different kind of work that I was able to, my work is different than their work,
Right.
which helps round out a wrestling show. Not everybody is going to be a high flyer.
That's right.
Not everybody can't get the hell in the ring like I can, okay? I mean, it was, I got to tell you, the 90s for ECWA and PCW were some of the best times of my career.
Oh,
And to be honest with you, even today, I still can go out there and just bring it.
Nice. Yeah, those guys were great even as youngsters. Brian Kendrick, who's now in the Cruiserweight Classic series, the 205 Live, the old Spanky, Brian Kendrick.
Right, another gentleman who was much like as young as the Valedictorians were, the Logans were, was that same mold where they just absorbed everything, and if you showed them once, they were off to the races with it. It was. If anyone can ever find the old tapes or go on YouTube and watch these guys, they ought to. There's so much to learn. I know I keep going back to that, but there is so much out there.
Oh, I agree with you. You can never say that enough, believe me. How about Kikoa, the Happy Hawaiian? What was it? The Hawaiian Warrior?
Kikoa, the Flying Hawaiian,
Yes.
as I know him.
Yes.
Yes, I have not wrestled him. I think he's still ducking me. But he did. I am going to be out on a show with him up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, I believe in June. So maybe he'll have a run-in with Monsieur La if he's not watching himself. But there is another young gentleman who's doing what he needs to do. He's hitting the gym, is watching his diet, is doing cardio way more than I am, to be honest with you.
Right.
I mean, I can do 1.5 miles in 3 days. I'm good, you know?
How about Matt Saigon?
Fusion DS with Damian Dragon.
Yes.
One of the finest tag teams I've ever seen work. In fact, their show that they did when we were in Bethlehem last year, when they wrestled, I know it was Kikoa, but I forget who his partner was. That was Saigon and Damian's last match as a tag team, but that was a phenomenal match to watch.
Excellent. I got one of your old partners, Mozart Fontaine.
He's the RCP champion, I believe, right now, who is still, I think he lost his hair. I don't know if he lost a bet, but another gentleman who ECWA at one point had a school in Newark, Delaware, where he helped learn and was trained with Simon Diamond and Glenn Osborne and came up through the ranks there with Johnny Max. But another young man who's extremely talented, and to quite frankly, you probably don't know this, but when the Briscoe brothers were just 18 years old. Mozart and I have wrestled him about 3 times in a row. And, you know, the last time they did the old switcheroo because they looked so much alike back then
Right.
that I ended up getting pinned. But, you know, we were a formidable tag team.
Excellent. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this next guy is over in New Zealand. Mega.
Are you sure it's not D-Line? No, D-Line's in. No, D-Line. I did not know Mega was in Australia, but
I could be wrong. I'm wrong
Mega,
a lot. You know?
So it's a broken clock.
Yeah,
exactly. Day, right?
Exactly.
So Mega. Mega was my last match. Was actually I was in the Battle Royal, and it was no fault of his own. The way I was in the Battle Royal was him and I slugging it out down at the Boys and Girls Club. When I finally made a mistake, and he got his hands a hold of me, and he went and threw me out of the ring. I was moving so fast, I held on to the rope. That's when my hand slipped off and went right into my left eye, causing the rupture, the 13 millimeter tear of the globe, the detached retina, and all that. That was the match right before I was supposed to wrestle Ace Darling. And to be honest with you, that night, I thought that was my last match.
Really? It was that bad? The injury was that bad, huh?
I drove home, and then my wife looked at me, and she took me right to the hospital at Riddle, Pennsylvania, and then I took the ambulance to Will's Eye that night.
Wow. Sorry to hear that. How about...
It's okay, because it's part of who I am today.
Right. How about a guy that, if I'm not mistaken, is working down at the Performance Center for the WWE, Steve Corino?
What outstanding man. Finally has gotten the recognition he's deserved. And actually, no, I'm sorry. I don't know that he deserved it, but I know he has earned it.
I think he deserves it.
Yeah, he does, but he deserves it because he did what he needed to do. He has earned every accolade that he has achieved in this business. And watching him wrestle as a young man, I don't know that he was even 200 pounds.
Oh, he definitely wasn't 200 pounds. There's no doubt. He's
and if he didn't wet his hair down, he
right. He might.
He was just.
Go ahead.
It was like a 1, 2, 3 kid.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I remember when he first got to ECW. Even he was still on the real thin side. You know, he probably weighed about $180, but like you said, he earned it. I've actually met Steve a few times. He's a great guy, always willing to help out. I think he's perfect for the Performance Center. I really do.
I do. I believe that he is perfect because he has the patience, he has the knowledge, and he's part of the bridge from yesteryear to today.
Oh, absolutely. How about Davey Richards?
Wow, Davey Richards. These are all the guys that can do what I can't. That's why I'm in awe of all of these gentlemen. The psychology. I understand the psychology. I understand how to work it, to connect with the crowd. And these gentlemen know how to do it too, and they could take those high risks. I mean, there's something to be said for what they do, and I'm in awe of all those gentlemen that can do what I cannot.
Well, believe me, like when you were talking about how they, wrestlers different sizes, I've always believed that a perfect wrestling show has the high flying match, the technical match, a comedy match, a hardcore match. Every show should have a little bit of, all of that.
Correct, because the young kid who's aspiring can see a young gentleman in the ring and think, hey, that could be me. Or the super heavyweights, they can move. Boogie Woogie Brown, if you don't know this, he blew his knees out. He told me the story. Blew his knees out while training, doing drills with the Oakland Raiders.
Oh, wow.
He was that close to being with the NFL. But his knees went out, and that was it.
Right.
And then he went on to social work, which is so fitting for such a kind soul that he was.
Right. We got about 3 minutes left. I definitely want to just do a couple more names, and then I want you to plug yourself, anything you got going. Do you know a guy named Rob Feinstein?
I do know Rob Feinstein. He does most notably for the videos, Feinstein videos.
Yes. I met Rob.
So, yeah, a good man, and the quality of work that he puts out in the videos and having those libraries is everybody's dream, especially if you want something old.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Rob does a lot of good for the business. He really does.
I believe so.
How about Christopher Daniels' ex-partner, Kazarian?
You're moving like a robot, for Christ.
What's that? What'd you say?
I think you were moving like a robot for a second
Yeah,
there.
I can't sit still. Kazarian.
Yeah, you think? I don't want to sound like a broken record, but these are all the gentlemen who I do wish that I could emulate some of what they do, but I have been blessed and privileged to share locker rooms with them, just listening to them, talking to them. They have all been wonderful stewards of the business.
Excellent. How about Joel Blackheart? He used to be a promoter, correct?
Yes. Yes, he's a good man. I've had many conversations with him at the ECWA over the last couple years. And he reminds me that some of the best heels in the business have so few wins. So I'm all over the losses. Let me tell you.
All right. Listen, we got to wrap it up. We got a little more than just over a minute left. You want to plug your stuff? You know, your Facebook, your Twitter, anything you want to plug, your upcoming shows? The floor is yours.
Well, yes, we have the ECWA in Springfield on June 17th, and then we're in Jersey on the 24th. There's a lot going on. Please find my Facebook page. There should be a link on Lee O'Connor's page because I don't know what the hell the name of it is. And then if I can figure out how to post my Facebook, my Twitter, my MySpace, and my Instagram, and I don't know, I think I got a pocket full of posies around here somewhere for you. But I am loving the business. I'm loving where I'm at in the business. And I am here simply now to help, God willing, leave a legacy for Monsieur Ooh La La.
Well, I definitely think so. Like I said, you've made an impression on me. Thank you very much for doing this interview. You have no idea how happy I am. Like I said, when I met you in Philly that day, it was an incredible thing. The whole write-up for 6 hours, my ex-co-host Derek and my grandson had to listen to me talk about you. So, again, thank you very much for being on the show. Take care.
Thank you for having me. And remember, ooh la la! You shut your mouth and I'm still the best. Ha!
Guys, that's it from us. Peace!
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.